Good evening, everyone. We have a very, very special guest, Siobhan, who comes from South Africa and is in Israel at the moment. And we're so pleased that you're here in our home in Beit Vegan, and that you are giving this wonderful interview, which I'm sure all our listeners out there will appreciate tremendously.
Thank you.
Siobhan, your name is so lovely. What does it actually mean?
So it is Irish and it means God is gracious.
Wow, it's very special.
Thank
very
you.
special.
With a very complicated spelling. So it's Siobhan. There's no way to pronounce it phonetically with the spelling.
And Siobhan, you were born in South Africa?
I was, yes, in Johannesburg, grew up, born and bred.
In Joburg? Or?
Yeah. So I lived in Park Ridge, went to school in Northcliffe, so I've been kind of on the west end of Joburg my whole life.
And this is your third visit to Israel?
It is. I'm at seminary. My first trip was a touring trip. The second trip I came with an organization called the Jewish Women's Renaissance Project, and I've come to SEM for 3 weeks.
Okay, now I'm going to ask, I know it's a very personal question,
Okay.
but what made you interested in what made you interested in Judaism, or your first encounter with Jews, or in the Jewish religion, or in Israel, basically?
Okay. So I come from a family that is either agnostic or atheist. So both sides of my family, my mom and my dad, there's no religion. We went to church on Christmas just because everybody else did it, but we weren't brought up in a house where there was formal religion. That being said, my mom always encouraged us to kind of forge our own path when it came to religion and to spirituality. So she encouraged us to find what we needed to. So in high school I latched onto any friend that was either Christian or Catholic or whatever there was in school, and I would go with them to their churches. I did that for about a year, and it was almost like I would be there, and I had such a yearning and such a void that I felt that I needed to fill, and it was almost like this repulsion from these churches. So I would go in and I would listen to the services, and I would be with the people, and my whole being would just say no, this isn't it. So I thought at the end of that year that maybe I'm just meant to be more spiritual. Maybe it's just meant to be a connection that doesn't fit into a formal religion. I didn't know any Jews at that point.
Have you ever met any Jews?
So I didn't, not at school. I subsequently found out a girl that I was very friendly with was a Reform Jew, but I never would have known if if I hadn't started this process. So I did a degree in financial maths at Rao, my undergrad. I did my honours at Wits, and in that year I met a girl, Shira Zadikoff, who wasn't religious at that stage. So again, I became very close with her, but I didn't know much about her religion. I knew she was Jewish, but I'd kind of like past the point. I'd resigned myself to the fact that it maybe wasn't meant to be. I wasn't meant to be religious. So we became very close. We lost touch. I started working for the South African Revenue Service straight after school, and she went to Israel. She went to London a couple of years later, and I had a very bad break-in at home. So I had an armed robbery, and a whole lot of things were taken, including my phone. So I put on Facebook and said, if anyone needs to contact me on Facebook.
Was anybody at home when that happened?
Yeah, I was. So we were tied up, guns to our heads. Yeah, so they were in and out in 5 minutes. Thank God we weren't hurt, but it was still traumatic.
Incredibly traumatic.
Yes, yeah. So that was in 2012.
Wow.
And
did you go for counselling afterwards?
Yeah, so I went for 1 or 2 sessions, but I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, but I have like kind of my way of dealing with traumatic situations is I feel like completely disconnected from them. So I almost feel like it was happening to somebody else. And even when I recall it now, it's not like I feel like it wasn't me. I feel like I'm not connected to the situation at all. Thank God. Thank God. So Shira saw this message on Facebook, and she said, even like thinking back now, she wouldn't have contacted me if she didn't. I wasn't, front of mind. We had lost touch over the years, and we got together, and she said, I am climbing Kilimanjaro with this group of Jewish women, and I said, I'm in, and she said, you weren't invited. So I pestered her for about a week, and I said to her, I have to come. I've made this my year of yes. I said whatever. I'd had a bad breakup as well, and I just thought for the next year I'm going to take chances. So I went, I skydived, I bungee jumped, whatever would like make me jumpstart me into life again. That's what I wanted to do. And so I tested her, and I ended up joining this group of Jewish women, and brought along a Muslim from work, brought along a Christian from work, and it was kind of spun into this unity trip.
And how did the interaction between Muslim, Christian, Jewish?
Amazing. It was amazing. So we had an unbelievable leader. Her name was Robin Smukler. We did it for the Women's Empowerment Division of ORT. We raised funds for that division, and it was just the most incredible group of women, holy, beautiful, connected women, that I almost feel like I was placed exactly where I was meant to be. So it's like the story of Esther, like maybe this is the moment for which you were created. Like there's been so many of those moments that it was exactly where I was meant to be. I met exactly the right people. I started the journey.
Can I just interrupt in this moment? When you heard that it was a group of Jewish women, did that have any?
It had no. I was just thinking, okay,
no
so
significant. It was immaterial if they were
immaterial.
Jewish or
Totally immaterial.
And did you know a bit about Judaism before?
Nothing. I hadn't explored it. I hadn't. I maybe didn't go as deep. I kind of just went to what I knew.
But in your family, growing up, you never had any anti-Jewish feelings or any anti-Semitic. You never heard of any anti-Israel, anti-Jewish.
Nothing. My family was also quite politically, so there wasn't really. They were very like middle ground. So there weren't strong political opinions towards.
And they were open.
Totally open. Totally.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's something I wish more families could emulate. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And encouraged you to broaden your horizons and to investigate all different beliefs.
And I think they felt also this, like kind of this searching that the search that I was on. And my mom said to me, once I'd found Judaism, she said, like, I just wanted you to find your place, for your soul to be calm, because I always felt like you were always looking and always wanting to fill it, always searching. And
so the preparations, had you ever done mountain climbing? Kilimanjaro is one of the major mountains. Did you ever do preparations? Did you ever climb mountains before?
No, nothing.
And you just decided to go in this group?
Yeah.
What was it about this particular group that inspired you, being together with this group, that inspired you to convert?
So I think that was the beginning. They were involved in so many community projects, and I just saw a depth. Like, I tried to kind of explain it to myself in my head, and I feel like I was always living on the surface of life. Like, my life was in black and white. And as soon as I had this first interaction with Kilimanjaro, it was like all of these colors came alive in the world, and there was this whole other place that existed beneath what I knew, and I felt a depth in conversations and a depth in experiences and a depth in people that I didn't know existed. So with them, they were all involved in community projects. They were all holy people that were so connected to God, and that saw his hand in everything. So everything was elevated. It was the first time that I saw a brocha being made on food, and it's something that's so basic and so simple, and in every single moment that they put something into their mouths, they elevate such a simple thing. And they started each day with praying, and so all of these things that I saw, it just kind of brought me closer and closer. But it wasn't that you know, that was the beginning.
But they never tried to convert, God forbid, or then, because it's not the way. They never started telling you the pros of Judaism, or
yeah. So I must tell you. So we trained from the April, and we summited on Women's Day in August of 2012.
So how long was the whole journey?
So it was 7 days, 5.5 days up, a day and a half down, and we had Shabbat on the mountain. So we took all of our own food, and we did all of these things. Now, when you're climbing on the Friday, you get above the clouds, but the whole day on that day it was pouring with rain, like you couldn't even see in front of your face. When we got to the top and they started, and this was the first time I saw like a Friday night, and it was all the singing, and it was all, people don't sing at their tables, and while they were davening the Shabbat service, as they turned around to welcome Shabbos, the clouds opened.
Wow.
And I just thought, my immediate thought was like, what is this magic? Like, what is this? What? And it was this feeling of complete, like, I was content and completely grounded and completely connected. And I didn't recognize it then. I recognized this feeling of, wow, this is amazing, but I didn't recognize it as like a soul recognition at that point.
And how did the Muslim lady and the Christian lady, how did they respond?
Amazingly. So thank God, like, the whole group was really open-minded, and a Muslim colleague is, I think, what Islam is meant to embody. So it is a peace-loving, open. That's what she is, and that's what it is to her. So I think it came from, it came from a very different place. It came from one of a space of acceptance, and a space of non-judgment, and
your whole group was very accepting of each other.
Totally.
So, and were most of the women on the group very religious, Orthodox?
All religious, yes, yeah. No, all but one was religious.
But
yeah.
they were accepting of everybody.
Totally.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's superb.
Yeah.
Wow. And then after the encounter at Kilimanjaro, you came back. You must have made a lot of connections with the ladies that you went with?
So then I would go for Friday nights, and I would drive home and still have like wine and prawns with my family on Saturday, and I could have the connection to both worlds without committing to one. And then I travelled with a friend, with Robin, who ran the trip. I travelled with her to India, and that was my first experience of Shabbat at a Chabad house, which I thought was the most unbelievable. We walked in there, and I kept on like thinking, okay, so they're obviously going to ask us to pay something. People don't just invite strangers into their home and let them eat and drink and whatever for free. We walked in there, they welcomed us, hugged us, it was singing, they didn't ask us for a single thing. It was just like a complete openness and giving, because you're a Jew and you need a place for Shabbat. I felt like a complete fraud. I kept on saying, but I'm not Jewish, and they said, no, welcome to everyone, come, so that was very special, like an experience of Judaism outside of South Africa.
Where in India?
And so we travelled all around. We landed in Mumbai, we did most of the south, we went north, we went Delhi, Agra, the Chabad was in Pushkar. So it was amazing, and also to travel with Robin. So we had I think 3 Shabbats there, and all of them were fully observant. I mean, I didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know, but it felt so holy to like put your phone away for a whole day, and I did it properly with her. So, you know, yeah, it was unbelievable.
And she explained to you what she was doing?
Yeah, so briefly. I mean, she thought, you know, it was her first time also traveling with a non-Jew. So for her it was also a little bit strange. And she, you know, she explained it as much as I kind of needed to know without it being too.
But her intention wasn't to change your view?
No, not at all. Nothing. It was nothing like that. It was just, you know, we had a connection, and I had a connection with a lot of these women, and that I just wanted to like be a part of that. And so I went to Shurim as well, but never thought about converting. It was never on my mind.
This is Shurim back in Joburg?
Yeah.
And where did you go to the Shurim?
So it was all around. They hold a lot at Aish and through the academy, which runs a lot of Jewish courses. So I did Torah in a nutshell. When I wasn't sure, I mean, I wasn't even converting. I just wanted the knowledge, and I loved the depth. And
did you feel when you went to these Shurim that people weren't judging you, or you were accepted?
Yeah,
you were accepted.
There was no judgment.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And okay, being non-Jewish, going to these Shurim, it must have had a bit of an impact on you.
So
were you free to question or to search and ask questions?
Yeah, totally. But I didn't feel at that stage that I was on the spiritual quest. I just thought, you know, it's really, I love the depth, and I love the learning, and I love the people, and that's it, you know. So it just became a part of my life. It didn't become the sole focus. It just became like classes that I was going to, or friends that I was going to supper with, you know. That's what it was.
And then you came to Israel again?
So,
your first visit to Israel?
So my first visit to Israel was in March 2015. So it was quite a few years after Kilimanjaro. And in that time between, we had also done a lot of things. So Robin also, when she was at Ort, she organised a swim from Robin Island to Big Bay. So I did that with the relay team.
You did that swim as well? Wow, very adventurous. Wow.
Yeah, and I met another group of Jewish people. You know, so it was like all of these different groups that I was meeting, and they were more secular, and you know, so I had exposure to a lot of different groups of people, and all of them I loved.
Can I just ask, for our listeners out there, is this the same Robin that did the channel?
No. English channel.
There was
no.
A South African lady who tried to do the English channel, and she just missed it by...
So that was Kiki Marks. She missed it by 400 meters.
Yeah, something like 400 meters.
Kiki Marks is her name.
And you know her too?
Yeah, she swam with us, the first Robin Island swim. She's underneath the us in Joburg, yeah. She's incredible.
That's amazing. But even doing the Robin Island, going there when we went by boat, it's a journey in itself, just going by boat. So to swim it, wow.
So I did the relay with 3 other people. It wasn't really like, you know, but a lot of the other swimmers did the full thing in costumes. So we did it also for a charity. It was for also for Ort. And so we were allowed to swim in wetsuits, and you know, but it was still 2 kilometers in the freezing cold. Yeah. So
I think what we gain from this is that all these events, one enjoys it, and it's you're doing it for a purpose, in that you actually, people are benefiting from it. It's a charity event as well.
Yeah.
It's incorporating charity and doing good deeds while you're doing the actual action as well.
Which is so much of what Judaism is about. Like everything is this taking something so simple, and you elevate it, and you make it more, and you,
Okay. And when you came to Israel for the first time?
So that was in March 2015, and we came to support the same friend that I'd studied with, Sherry Zadikoff. She was running the Jerusalem Marathon, and another friend, Laureen Shophead, was running the half. So I came to support them, and to tour, and to see another country, and it wasn't on this spiritual, you know, journey again. And I got off the plane and something shifted, and I can't tell you what it was, but I just felt this shift inside. And I think I felt every single emotion when I was here. I sobbed more than I ever had. I had two friends with me that kept saying, do you need something to eat? Do you want to drink something? Like, do you want to have a nap? Like, because I'm not an emotional person. I'm not a crier. I'm not, you know, I'm usually very level and very very together. And when we first stepped foot into the old city, I started to sob uncontrollably, and I sat at the kotel and I sobbed and sobbed for like an hour, and I couldn't explain it. I couldn't say, you know, oh, maybe it's like a soul connection, or maybe it's a, you know, a religious thing. I didn't know what it was. And we went into a shul that Friday night, and I can't even remember what shul it was. It was a shul in Jerusalem, and I just thought, I'm home, and that was it. And I came back and I made an appointment with Beth Den.
That is amazing. And looking back, those emotions that you felt, it's never happened before?
Never. Nothing that I can describe to you even comes close to that. Like I said before, I felt like I'd lived my whole life without even realizing it, on the surface of what was possible. And there was this whole existence below that I didn't know existed. And I recognize that now, even that the glitter is settled and the inspiration isn't always there, and it's, you know, now an everyday thing, I still recognize that flutter in my soul. It's the same feeling. So when I sit in classes that you know, are speaking about Torah and speaking about these concepts, and I feel the same flutter, which I don't feel with, I can't explain to you. I'm such a mind, I'm such a mind person. You know, I don't make a lot of decisions based on emotions or based on my heart. And with this one, it was completely that. It wasn't. Even when I got back from Israel, I made a list of the pros and a list of the cons. The pros were like this, and the cons were like. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, why would you choose to make your life so difficult when I'm very close with my family? All of the events are on a Friday night. All of the birthday parties are on a Saturday. It all centers around meals. You know, it's all of these questions that came up, like, you know, will your mom be able to stand with you under the chuppah, and will you be able to go to your parents' funeral if it's in a church, and you know, can you sit shiva for them, and can your dad walk you down the aisle, and can your best friend stand with you also under the chuppah? So it's all of these questions that are very real considerations. So why would I give up everything?
Because in truth, you could have remained as you are and not going through the conversion process and have the best of both worlds in a way.
Exactly. But this is, I feel like I'm living my truth. I feel like that's you know, it was so interesting. I went to Netanya to visit a friend the last time that we were here, and I met a woman on the street, and she said to me, she was part of the shul that my friend goes to, and she said to me, "You look so familiar." And I said to her, you know how often I get that? I get that everywhere in Israel, that I look so familiar. And I said, no, I haven't visited here before. It's my first time. And she goes, I know where I saw you. So I said, like, where? And she said, I saw you at Har Sinai. Wow. That's where I saw you. And I just thought, and she didn't know my story. She didn't know that I was, you know, that I was on this journey, and she didn't know that I was, and I just thought, like, wow, that's quite something. Because it is that, you know, it's almost like that, you're peeling away those layers, and it's that soul recognition.
It's something.
Yeah.
I remember the talk that I met you. After the talk, we'd introduce yourself to the speaker. So she said, "But you look so Jewish."
I get that all the time, and people also say, like, you have such a Jewish neshama. Like, what does that mean? You know, is it a feeling? Is it a? But I get it all the time.
And
I think it's the nose, but that's just.
It's your whole. You've got a lovely you, and
Thank you.
it is a neshama, there's no question. Can I ask, when you made the decision to convert,
Yeah.
how did your family react, and how did your friends react?
So my family were incredibly supportive, but I also don't think that they fully comprehended the implications, and neither did I. I didn't know what it really meant to I just thought, I'm going to convert and it's going to be, you know, but there's very real changes. So I can give you an example. My sister-in-law is an incredible entertainer, and she always, you know, it's always these big meals and these big parties, and my brother said to me, when you come to us for a meal, what will you eat? So I said, I'll bring something. I'll just, bring something from a kosher restaurant, wrap it in foil. He goes like, no, I want you to be part of our meal. How can we do that? So I said, I'm not really sure like how we can do that. So he went and he did some research, and he said to me, if we buy you kosher meat and we have a pan that's yours and dishes that are yours and cutlery that's yours and nobody else touches it, can we make that work? Because we want you to eat the same meal that we're eating. We don't want you to feel separate from it.
Oh, that's very sensitive.
It's amazing. He said, even if you have to come, because he said, I got the short guide from Pick and Pay on Pesach. It's only like 600 pages. And he said, like, we need to find a way to make it work that it's a part. So even last year, so we did Christmas Kai. We did a combination because I've got two small nephews, and so we lit the Hanukkah candles, and we still did like Christmas in our family isn't a religious holiday. It's just like a fun time. But we lit the Hanukkah candles, and then they still had the Christmas tree, and we try to make it like a combination of both.
And your parents have been supportive?
So my dad passed away when I was in Standard 3. He died in a car accident. My mum, thank God, has been unbelievably supportive. She Googles, she's like learning Yiddish phrases, and she Googles all of the, what you say for the different chag, like what it's amazing. And she's upping her game on all things Jewish. And she came with me to the past challah bakes when the Shabbos Project did challah bakes, so she's into it.
That's fantastic. And how do you feel? How's the Jewish community, or how the rabbinate, how they've accepted you, and how was their reaction when you mentioned that you wanted to go through the conversion process?
So I'd already known some of them before. I'd met Rabbi Hendler, who heads the program. I'd met him through the Shabbos Project. They had done some talks, and one of them was at his shul, so I'd met him, I'd met his wife, and they were very welcoming and very accepting, but in a very real way. So our first meeting, he said to me, I believe your intentions are pure. Like, I know you, I know, but what is your background with Judaism? Like, what have you been exposed to? So I said, obviously, like Shlomo Carlebach, and it's, like all of these inspirational, amazing, like Sarah Yocheved Regla, and, it's all of these books that are meant to inspire. So he said, okay, so here's a book, and he gave me Becoming a Jew, and it's got all of the halakha, and he said to me, read this, and then come back to me, and we'll have a conversation. So there it discussed the very dry aspects of Judaism, and he said to me, if this is what you want to do and you're serious about it, and then we'll accept. So the community has been amazing. They've been accepting and welcoming, and I'm never without a Shabbos meal, and never without a place to go for Chagim, because like Pesach is especially difficult because a lot of people go to their families, and I almost feel like I don't really belong anywhere. So I have families that feel like my family, but it's still not my mom, and it's not my, so it does make it a little bit difficult, but they're accepting, thank God.
And how long have they mentioned that the process might take?
So it's a minimum of 2 years. I've been on it. I started just after Rosh Hashanah 2015. So please God, at the end of this year, I'll be done. But it's a minimum, so it can take longer if from my side or from their side. You know, I'm not in a huge rush. I want to be sure of everything before I commit to it for the rest of my life. So it's the Orthodox conversion, and you know, you kind of commit to do everything. You commit to cover your hair. You commit to, you know.
And they've encouraged you to question and to.
Totally. I think that's the difference between Judaism and any other religion, is it's, if you don't question, there's something wrong. So you have to you have to understand it in whichever way that you need to. And they say one of the things that I love the most is it's not so much the words in the Torah that matter. I mean, that matters, but it's not so much the words that matter, it's the spaces in between. So it's the meaning that you get from you know, your interpretation and your understanding and your connection to the Torah. So it's not that a line is written and there's one way of looking at it. There's 70 different ways or whatever of connecting.
Siobhan, I just want to mention something that I don't know if the rabbis have told us to you, but a lovely, something very nice about Judaism, which differentiates it from all other religions, is that we strongly believe that, and that's why there's no emphasis, there's never been an emphasis, and in fact it's not a converting religion, because we really believe that all righteous people have a place in Olam Haba, in the next world, in heaven, and everyone has a place with God. You don't have to be Jewish to have a special relationship with God. Everybody has a relationship with God, and being Jewish, you know, it doesn't put you in a special. Everybody, we all God's people, and we all God's. The Jewish people are God's chosen people, and sometimes it's very difficult to be the chosen people, but that everybody has a place with God, which actually differentiates from all other religions, because in fact, all the other religions, only if you belong to that religion do you have your connection with God or with the next world. But in Judaism, it's all religions, irrespective.
Amazing.
And I think it's all encompassing. And I think your journey and how people have really supported you, but it's your neshama. It's your choice, which I think makes it so amazing in your experience.
My God. And I'll just tell you one more thing. So it's it has been amazing that at every single point in this journey I've been given exactly what I need. Exactly the person that I need at that point. So I have the most unbelievable group of women that have helped me with all different aspects. So the one, her name is Jenny Braun. She taught me how to read Hebrew, and this was before I was even thinking about converting. But she taught me in a way that completely connected me to every single letter. So she taught me about gematria, and she taught me about the shorish, and she taught me about. This was before I even thought about converting. So I really had a love of the Hebrew language and the depth of how the letters are written and how you can work out the meaning of each word, and this was before I even thought about converting. So I went into it not having a teacher that would teach me, okay, so Aleph, Bet, Gimel, you know, like in that way, and how to read like that. I went into it with having this deep love of this language that I was going to use to build a relationship with Hashem. You know, so it wasn't like I'm reading out of the Torah or davening from a siddur and doing it in a way that I'm just reading the words. It's like the letters have, you know. So that was the one, and then, you know, Robin has been so instrumental in my journey, and another family, the Shalpids, they've taken me in. So for every chag, I've got a home, I've got a place to go. So she goes, like, my child, like, come to me for dinner, and come to me for the chagim. And another woman, Leslie Sachs, and you know, I lived with her for 3 months while I was renovating my home, and she lives like this holy, like, you know, proper. She davens every morning, and her home is filled with such you know, she opens it up the simcha, and she, you know, Melissa Chipkin as well, like her family, I would like love to emulate them one day. So I've been given these like, and it's not by chance that I've been given these people in my life to kind of
help you along
to
the
help
way.
me along the way, and to show
to
me
guide
the way,
you,
to
to
hold
guide.
my hand, and to
But to learn Hebrew before you made the decision to
Yeah.
convert, that is pretty unique. That really is absolutely unique. Wow, and you see the richness of
totally. I mean, and I'm learning every single. There's so many things. There's so much depth, and there's so much. I love that you'll never know everything. You'll never stop learning. There'll always be something else. So like now that I've been in these classes, like I've completely immersed myself in everything. There's so much I don't know, and I almost want to like, you know, grab at everything and keep it and soak it up. But I know that it's like this never-ending.
Well, it's a journey.
thing.
It's a journey,
And it's
that,
amazing.
And one grows,
Yeah.
and your trip now, your recent trip, where you're in Hanof and you're at Sem, and I'm sure you must be gaining tremendously from all the shiurim and all
It's
the different.
incredible, and the people as well. It's a different level of Torah here. I mean, Joburg has phenomenal teachers, but here it's like your every moment of every day is on a level that, I mean, that we met, and that I've met people on the bus that have taken me down to the Kotel, and that I'm learning from so many different. So I went to a shiurim at a Chabad shul, and I went to, you know, it's a Hasidic one, and I went to, there's all of these different options, and everything has something that I've gained from it. To like immerse yourself in Torah for 3 weeks is, you know, it's not an opportunity that people get. You have to usually carry on with normal life in between, and for me, I get to live it 24 hours a day, which is
And
amazing.
you feel here in Yerushalayim and in Israel, you feel at home.
Completely.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. Hard. I don't know if I'd live here, if I'd move here quickly, but
Please God, one day.
please God, amen,
But
amen.
everything that has significance comes with
Yeah,
you have to work on it.
Yeah.
If it falls too easily, sometimes it's.
yeah,
But your journey is something. I just want to mention for all our listeners, it is special beyond belief. It really is. It's incredible.
thank you.
And you should just always strive for the truth, and always have Hashem's angels guiding you. They really are like angels who guide you, and should only know nachas, happiness, all of Hashem's
Amen.
blessings. And we are just so privileged to have you in our home and to hear your amazing story, and that you're sharing it with everybody. It's such an honor and a privilege, really.
Thank you.
We really mean it, and you just should have every single blessing that Hashem can offer, and you should be just so happy in your choice. And it's just so wonderful to hear that your family has accepted this. It's a very, very important part
It's
that your
huge.
family has accepted you so
Yeah.
beautifully in your decision, and it should be an easy decision, and you should just find the right zivug, we call the right partner, and to have such a beautiful journey into Judaism,
Thank you.
and that other people can emulate you. Like you want to emulate others, we should all be able to emulate you, and your journey is something very special.
Thank you so much.
And I really appreciate you giving us this interview.
Thank you so much for having
And
me.
thanks so much for coming here this evening as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, God bless.